Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Girl Dad Show. I am so excited for today's guest. I cannot wait for you to hear from Jim. Jim, welcome to the show.
Hey, Young. Happy to be here.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I know how incredibly
Of
busy
course.
you are, so this is really, really meaningful for me. And I'm so excited to get to interview you, not only about business, but also on the personal side, because I feel like I've been getting to know you a lot better over the last year. And I'm really excited to get to know you even better after this show.
Me too.
So let's jump right in. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you're working on right now?
I'll make it quick. I'm a Silicon Valley operator for about 30 years. I cut my teeth on scaling startups from Intuit to Netflix to Mozilla from very early stages, under 100 employees for Intuit. One of the first six, we started the DVD rental business in envelopes in 1997. Firefox, there was about 18 people there. We just launched Firefox 1.0 in 2004. The reason I bring those three up is because it really gave me a lot of foundations for scaling companies and a lot of lessons learned. So I've been an operating CFO for over 25 years. Now I'm in the mode of giving back those lessons as fast as I can. I'm writing a blog called cooksplayBooks.com, which is sharing my best of lessons learned. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Started about a year ago. And I'm full-time advising and coaching operators, CEOs, COOs, CFOs on how to scale their businesses, and as a kind of a dual mode coach slash advisor. I'm not a coach like most people think. I'm very strategic, tactical, playbook oriented, partner on your shoulder. So I'm full time doing that with clients. I'm writing a weekly blog post. I'm having a lot of fun sharing back everything I've learned.
Yeah, you have a very, very fun career, and I really appreciate that you kind of dabbled into it. And I do want to share a little bit more about those experiences, because I think it's very, very cool and very, very impressive. And I think it's really great that you're actually posting so much more content about it. Because I feel like there's so many operators and finance folks that are so lost right now with all the volatile changes that are happening in the market. And it's super incredible that you're kind of a singular voice in a lot of ways, kind of navigating all the chaos that's happening and kind of like speaking from the past and paying homage to the past and the core structural technical skills, but also kind of straddling the fence and like grabbing the future as well, and not being oblivious to it like an ostrich, right? Like you're actually very, very open to it and you're very aware of it. So
Yeah,
just a huge thank you as a fellow operator,
Yeah.
and consuming your content.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing here with your various venues, and we're all doing the same thing. This is a Silicon Valley style. Share as much as you can to whoever, absorb as much as you can, and give it back. This is the mantra of Silicon Valley: is everything's pretty open when you really unpack it, and that's why Silicon Valley's been so successful. We're not a hide it, hoard it culture.
Yeah.
We're very much of a share it, execute it culture, and everyone wins.
Yeah, execution is really, really, really prioritized in Silicon Valley for sure. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But this is also a parenting podcast, so I have to ask the critical questions here.
Sure.
When did you have your kid in that career of yours, when you were doing these startups? I mean, it's so funny to call Netflix a startup, but back when it was a startup, when did you have your kids? And when was
So when we started Netflix, it was 1997. I had Trevor, my first child. He's now 24, so in 2001. And I had my second child, Claire, a daughter, in 2004. So to give you a sense, I was a 25-year-old kid when I started at Intuit in 1991. They were based out of Menlo Park. That's in the heart of Silicon Valley. And so, yeah, I went 10 years before having my first child. I had them a little late, 35.
That's awesome, though. But so you basically were at Netflix when you had your first, or were you?
I started Netflix 4 years before I had my first child. Yeah, 1997.
What was the decision-making process for you when you wanted your first kid?
Well, we knew we always wanted kids, so it was just a matter of timing and career and focus. I'm not sure there was a decision-making process other than we better get going. I'm 35 and you're 35, and you hit that 35. I think you hit that 35-year-old age when you're really kind of driven and having fun. My wife Lissa was having fun as well, and she was a product marketing manager. And then we looked at each other and said, "If we're gonna have kids, I mean, we both want a family. It's like we got to reprioritize." Like everybody else, like most other parents do.
Yeah, and you just did. So that was the decision matrix. It wasn't that very sophisticated, but it was very much so logical.
Not at all.
I love it. And then what does she think about you venturing into more of your own advisory and content creation business?
Very supportive. She loves it. I think I've always been this way. I've always loved being a teacher. I coached my kids through all their sports, whether it be basketball or soccer. I was coached, and I write about this. I had some amazing coaches and teachers as I grew up, and I just think it's critically important to have those mentors and those coaches in your life. And if you can play that role as a parent, and I see some of the most successful, no matter who you are, how successful you are, I think that's the most valuable thing you can do as a parent, is to model time, model coaching, put yourself in a position to influence young people.
Yeah, that's really, really powerful, and I hope to be like that someday when I grow up. Right now, I'm still that duck that's like calm on the top and just like furiously paddling on the bottom. But I'm hoping to be at your level someday soon. I am actually really curious, because you have adult kids, what they think about your career and what you're doing. Have you talked to them about
I
this?
think, we don't talk about it too much, but I think they really think it's cool. To put it in their words. It's a great question. I haven't thought too much about it, but they talk about it a lot. It's like, hey, Dad, a friend of mine, forwarded your post to me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's impacting their friends, and I
Yeah.
think that's their way of saying it. Hey, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
So you've got some reach. Even
That's their way of saying that they're proud of you or they like it, right?
Right.
That's cool. Yeah, that is cool. Are they in finance? Are they in operations?
My older son just graduated CU Boulder, so he just took down his first job as a salesperson.
Nice.
And I'm really supportive of that as a salesperson, because I think sales is one of the most well-rounded first jobs you can have. You have to learn strategy. You have to listen to customers. You have to
Yeah.
communicate properly. I think all the skills of a salesperson, let me put it differently. I think everyone eventually gets to be in a leadership role, and that leadership role requires sales skills.
Yes. I was actually going to say something very similar, but not as elegant. I was just going to say, like, we all end up as salespeople at the end of the career, no matter what. So you might as well learn the skills early on.
Let's change the word from sales to influence, right? And so the more you know, and the more that you've learned, and the more that you want to make your team, your company successful, the more you have to try to influence the decision makers at the company, at the board, at the CEO. And the only way to influence is to communicate really effectively and to sell. Right?
Seriously.
Is to sell your ideas, is to be confident that you're right, and to get people to agree with you. That's sales.
Totally. Even recruiting top talent, right? Like convincing people to, join you is like sales. Yeah. I mean, I've tried to avoid it as much as I can, and all I do, I feel like, is right now is sales. And It's just like, man, I wish I did sales in my career,
I actually don't think I understood this for the first 10 years of my career. I thought just being a finance person and doing my job really well and doing spreadsheets and producing great results that people would, I played my position, and that was what was required. I didn't really comprehend until about 10 years into my career that, yes, that's the foundational layer that's required, but it's much more than that. It's being able to communicate with your peers and get them to, pass you the ball and you to pass them the ball. I use a lot of sports analogies. So yeah, and my daughter is currently at Boston University, and we are getting ready to drive her back. I did this last year. This is when we first started this conversation. I should come on the show and talk about that.
Yeah.
Sure, but we're going to do it again for her senior year.
That's awesome.
From California all the way to Boston, and just that's what I call forced time in a car. It's great.
I'm sure she loves it.
Well, I hope so.
What does she say?
She did last year. Last year was amazing. We drove Highway 40, which is the old Route 66, all the way across the country. I'd never done that.
That's cool.
Of course, I was the geek dad. I think my kids kind of like, Dad, you're a geek. Like, we had to stop at all the major things along Route 66, the bottle shop and the cinema shop, and take photo. And we stood on the corner of Winslow, Arizona. Nice. We went to Nashville. We went to Memphis, and so those shared experiences are priceless.
Yeah, I love that. And did you have that kind of same mindset when they were younger and when you were
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
startup phase? Oh, you
Yeah,
always
we're
have.
a family. We're a family very much of valuing experiences
Mm.
over most anything else. And so we will, we've taken our kids camping many times. We bought a camping trailer. We've taken them on whitewater rafting adventures in the middle of nowhere, down some of those whitewater rafting outfits where you go for a week and you get off and you camp and they feed you food for a week. When we've traveled all over Europe, we've done, when I was opening up Mozilla offices, we would do Airbnbs and off the beaten path. We're very much of an off the beaten path, get our kids to see the real world, see real people in local towns. We're not people that go to the sites and have to go to the museums and go to the Eiffel Towers. Like, we'd rather go talk to people.
Mm. Like get involved, like actually go see it.
Yeah, and really experiencing the local culture. I think if you can teach your kids how to, how the world, just show them, just open the door so they can experience for themselves and not tell them how the culture works. I think that's most impactful for their brains.
Why is that?
I think we're getting more and more isolated with our technology. We're getting more and more addicted to our phones, and the world is what's on your screen and your phone. The world's not at the cafe table or the outdoor restaurant on an island in Greece that we just got back from. So I don't know, just almost helping to expose them to other cultures, other people, face to face in real life,
Yeah.
does more than any. My wife and I talk about this a lot, but my kids actually have said it. They're 21 and 24. They know that world inside their phone behind that glass screen is not real. They know it's only the best of, and yet, they're still addicted to it like everyone else.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, and I will say that travel is like so interesting because it not only is a different different language, different mindset. It's just different core values, and I think it like spurs empathy. It like really does, and I can even be so direct to say that I actually even feel like traveling the different states in the United States feels like going to a different country as it relates to core values. Like it's phenomenal how different people think, just even in the United States alone. When you go to different places, it's like just wildly different perspective, and just getting to know and talk to people is just so good for the brain. And so it's really been a big focus of mine too, to like try to get my kids exposed to different places by traveling like that, because it's helped me grow, right? Like it's really like created big monumental changes in my mind shift by doing that. So I've been trying to do that for my kids, and I just was curious as to why you did that. Did your parents raise you that way, or how did you know that that
Yeah,
was a thing?
my parents raised me that way. My mom was totally that way.
Yeah.
Um,
How did you grow
so
up, by
yeah,
the
it's a
way?
cultural thing, I think.
It is. It is. Yeah. Did you always grow up in San Francisco, or were you?
No, well, I grew up until I was 10 in the Bay Area, and then my parents, their parents got sick, and they grew up in Ohio, so we ended up moving back to Ohio from when I was 11 to 18. So that was quite a
Mm,
shift, and quite a different culture.
yeah.
Big town to small town.
Very much so.
So I think that's where I got a lot of the people are different around the world, not only from my parents, but from actually living it, and
Yeah.
driving many places. When you're in Ohio or on the East Coast, you drive to a lot of different states. You see a lot of different cultures. They
Hmm.
drove us to Washington D.C. a lot. They drove us to Chicago a lot. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Hey, I was gonna mention the Mark Twain quote if you've never heard it, or for your listeners that have heard it, I'm sure this is redundant, but for those of you who haven't, I don't know the exact quote, so I would encourage you to look it up. But it talks to what you were exactly talking about. This Mark
Mm.
Twain quote of travel. I'll try to summarize. I don't have it quite right, but travel is the enemy of prejudice.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah.
He says it so much more eloquently, but I there was like, travel eliminates any form of prejudice
Mm. Yeah.
because you get to see with your own eyes, and you don't get to read what other people are saying or hear. It's like, well, that person's not like this, that town's not like this, these people are nice. It's like, you know, it's not so scary in Mexico, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't feel that at all. It's like, yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and I think that that's a really elegant quote. Yeah, I got to go research it, because I will say that it's one of those things that I've come to know about myself, and something that I want to bring into my kids, but it's hard to do. I mean, it's very hard because it costs money, it takes time, and they're kind of grumbling the entire time you're doing it for the most part until you actually get to the thing, right? Have you
totally.
ever experienced that, or?
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
okay.
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, just look, like, and I was like that.
Yeah.
I think kids absorb a lot more than they let on,
Yeah.
right? And so you
Yeah.
just have to expose them and and hope that they're absorbing it and looking out the window. And every once in a while, prod them. Hey, get off your phone and look out the window. There's the Grand Canyon over there, right? You got to have to be that person.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
this is why we love to go camping in a remote, because we kind of love that forced
Yeah.
off the grid. Sorry, your phone doesn't work here. Not my fault. We're on a raft. We're floating down, the middle fork of the Salmon River. It's great.
That is great. But I think that you have the benefit of actually getting to talk to them about the after effects, right? Because, like, I'm sure your kids are telling you that, like, their core memories, and they're able to tell you what they remember about stuff and what they liked and appreciated. Even the fact that you have the ability for them to even articulate that they know that what's behind the screen is like the best case scenario, it's not the reality. That's got to be validating, that you did the right things.
Yeah, I think you try to do the right thing every day, and it's a journey, because you do a lot of wrong things as a parent. As a leader, you do a lot of wrong things as a team. I think your kids are training grounds for how to be a good leader.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
Oh, so. Yeah, talk to me about the parallels. What do you notice about managing a team versus the kids? Yeah.
I think once you become a parent, you
Yeah.
exponentially become a better leader. What you think is leadership is what you've witnessed before you're a parent, and then what you realize after you're a parent, it's like, that's the same lesson that I should be doing with my kids, or that's the same, I wouldn't treat my family and my kids that way. I should probably treat my team this way,
Mm.
right? So I
Yeah.
think they're just basic lessons.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
classic. What I learned in kindergarten book is pretty relevant.
Yeah, totally.
And because
Totally.
because you have to go home every day and be that leader to your family, it reminds you to be that leader to your team.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will say that I have one thing that I disagree with on that is that I have a really hard time being as operationally rigorous with my kids as I am at work. I get railroaded so hard by my kids. I mean, they'll push back 2 or 3 times and I just give in. I'm like a pile of putty. It's just like one of these weaknesses I have. But like at work, I'm very sharp and I'm very disciplined and I'm very structured and I have frameworks for everything. And then with my parenting skills, I just kind of like give in a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's interesting where you went with that. Well, all I said was leadership, and you said operationally rigorous. I agree with you. I don't agree with being operationally rigorous,
Uh-huh.
but the parts of leadership that I think are most important are the relationships, the
Mm.
communication, the little bits of advice here and there that you drop that you hope they pick up, the modeling of behavior.
Oh, wow,
I
I love
just
it. You're like coaching me right now. Look at you, like watching where I take it. You're like, I didn't even say anything about that. I
oh,
love
good.
it.
Oh,
That's
good.
so funny. Let me ask you another question about your kids because I think that what's really fascinating is having a successful dad like you that's had these really cool logos and built titans of industry that everyone uses. Are there expectations that they have on themselves that are like pressured? You know what I mean? Like there's like these. I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Because it's got to
I
be
think there
weird to be your.
probably are.
Yeah.
It's a great question. I think there probably are, and in the back of my mind, I know I never want to be that person. I think some of the most successful people that I've ever known, and my dad taught me this quote, and they think this way too. I just know we have lots of conversations with my friend groups and colleague groups. Look, at the end of the day, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. Everyone goes to the bathroom mostly the same way.
Yeah.
Don't put people on a pedestal. They're just
Yeah.
human. They
Yeah.
happen to have been successful, whether through hard work and many times by luck, but
Mhm.
it doesn't change who they are.
Yeah.
And so I really encourage my kids that no one should be put on a pedestal, including me, and it's certainly not them. When they go through their teenage years and they think the whole world revolves around them, which
Yeah.
is classic growing. This is how the brain is formed. It's like it's all about me. You kind of model that that's not the reality out there. It's
Yeah.
so yeah, so I think it probably is, but I've done such an interesting job of just being dad at home, and who cares.
Hmm. That's cool. So you're like intentionally just like deflating a lot of it.
And maybe modeling too much humbleness. Maybe I've
Hmm.
been told that,
Hmm.
right? You should talk about this more. It's like, why? Because the
Yeah.
important things are who you are and how you show up and how you treat other people.
Yeah.
Just because I did that thing doesn't make me any better or any worse than you. It's how I show up
Yeah.
every day.
That's so cool, man. I love that. I mean, I will say it is pretty darn cool. I mean, being able to say you've worked on these logos that have like now being used by everybody in the world is just a really cool accomplishment
It is
for
cool, and I
anybody.
think that's probably why I was pushed into starting this newsletter as a talk about it more. I think
Yeah.
it's easier for me to write about it because it doesn't feel like I'm
So
talking about it to
directly.
somebody or bragging.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's easier for me to write the lessons and kind of say we did this at Intuit, Netflix, and Mozilla,
Yeah. It's almost
and
objective
have,
that way.
and have me be okay with it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So this is also an evolution for you. This is absolutely a new chapter trying to be a content creator and sharing these lessons.
Totally.
Has that
Yeah.
been the hardest part? Is just kind of like pushing the publish button, or what's been the hardest thing so far with this new journey?
I think for a lot of people, pushing the publish button is the hardest part because we grow up thinking, what are people going to think about me? Or are people going to see this and read this? We grow up being perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I coach this, and this is like, do what I say, not what I do. And I know I've been coached like this, but not caring about what people think and just being yourself and being real is what people want. And yet when it comes down to putting yourself out to the world, it's hard. It's hard. And so, I'm constantly learning on who cares if there's a typo? I can go back and fix it, right? I make mistakes all the time on my blog, right? But the most important thing is so I got a note from some random person I don't even know on LinkedIn. Somehow they found me and they sent me a message, and like, I just want to let you, I just showed my kids this the other day, just yesterday. I got this random note and it said, your newsletter has been the most impactful newsletter that I've read over the past year. And it's like, wow, it's really changing my perspective of my life and how I'm leading. I just wanted to thank you.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't even know this person was reading my blog. And so for all the stats and followers, and this, you're doing this with your shows, it's like you're starting to realize there's a really deep thread of I've got 5,000 followers or 4,500, whatever. It's like, no, I think it's a lot deeper than that. And even if I only affected that one person, that was worth it, honestly, for me.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
I don't need to have millions, but it's like, wow, I made a difference today.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that it's like, for whatever it's worth, and hopefully this helps you with your publishing button situation, but it definitely feels that way. Your content is like so refreshing, and it's so authentic, and it's just so real, and you're so giving of your knowledge, and so it's like,
thanks.
For whatever it's worth, I think it's definitely.
I know I have an Achilles heel though. My content is way too long for this attention span generation. And I've known that since day one.
Have you gotten that feedback?
And I can't. Oh yeah. It's way too long.
You know what I would want?
I don't know how to shorten it. I actually don't know.
Can I give you some?
Absolutely, I need some coaching on that.
I would love it if you did more short videos. I love when you talk because it's you could tell that you're very, very comfortable, you're very approachable, and there's a lot of this nuance that doesn't get carried over in your writing.
Right.
Whereas like when you talk to you, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's like literally my next door neighbor. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I could literally be doing this over the fence with you, but like it's sometimes it doesn't come across that way unless you're in person. And so
That's
I think
true.
that if you did more of those, like, but shorter, like these like kind of 2-minute clips, you know what I mean? It'd be like amazing, these little nuggets.
We share a team. We share this hunting hive team, and
Yeah.
they're pounding me on that. Other people are telling me that, and I experiment.
They are.
Oh yeah, and I experimented early on with producing those short form videos.
Yeah.
But can't do it in an authentic, real way because I set the camera up and I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just talking to a camera.
Yeah.
And I need interactions.
Yeah.
The reason why I like to do these guest podcasts is because we get into some of these lessons and it does feel real, and they can go cut up. We'll create some videos from this thing, but
that's right.
My only way to generate short form videos is by doing guest podcasts. Today, well, what I actually learned is that, so I'm doing a lot of my clients on Zoom. I actually have learned that there's a lot of content I have from my clients, and I'm like, you can't ever show my client's name. You can't ever hear their voice. But you could, if I say something in 30 seconds, cut that piece out and make that a short form. So we're working on that.
Nice. That's awesome.
So I've got the content built in, I realized. Now I just need to cut it up more.
It's all process based. Yeah, it's so interesting. But I will say that's awesome to hear that that's what they said, because that's how I feel as a consumer of your content, is like it's there's a missing piece, because the benefit of you is that you are a titan of industry, you are successful, but you're also damn approachable, and you're so casual about it. You know what I mean? And so I think there's like the marriage of those two things will literally help you explode. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Thank
you know
you.
what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I
just got to work on it.
Yeah.
Got to get honey and hives to produce dozens more, right? So
yeah.
here's
I do want to share. Yeah, exactly. I do want to share one really funny piece of advice that I got from a mentor of mine, Tony Cyrus, and I'm doing a LinkedIn post about it. But I did tell him, like, I think it was like 5 years ago, I'm like, Tony, I think I'm grown up. And he's like, why? I just don't care what people think about me anymore. I'm just going to start hitting publish. I'm just going to start putting it out there. And I just don't care. I think I'm grown up. And he goes, you're actually grown up when you realize no one ever cared about you to begin with. Just do what you want. He said, just
So true.
do what makes you happy. Live your life. No one ever really gave a shit about you. Just live your life.
It's
And
funny.
I'm like,
One of the very first things I wrote in 2005 when I started writing about Netflix back then during the first Web 2.0 blog medium, I wrote this article, on the 7 lessons I learned from Netflix. This is like 2005. You can still find it out there somewhere. But don't let the naysayers get you down.
yeah,
Right? It's something I was preaching to the choir because everyone counted us out. 1997,
Totally.
8, 9.
Totally.
Like, oh, this is the stupidest idea ever. Yeah, don't let the naysayers get you down. And that's what you just said is exactly that. Who cares about what other people think? Just do what you want to do, and you will find your following. But if you focus on, look, we live in a society where even the best celebrities are focused on not their positive followers, but their negative followers on social media.
yeah.
Don't feed the trolls. The trolls are out there.
Oh yeah.
The trolls will troll you, right?
I know,
Just
from
don't
one
feed the
content creator to
trolls.
another. Yeah, it's so hard not to get impacted by it, but it's inevitable. Yeah. Do you have quite a few of those, or have you been hit by that?
I haven't, and probably that means I need more. Probably that means it's more controversial.
You're
Right?
playing it too safe. That's what
I'm
that
playing it
means,
too
yeah?
safe. I think that's true.
Yeah, you're playing it too safe. I am curious though. How are you teaching your kids this?
I think just by modeling it, just by they see how they see me out here doing podcasts. They see me writing. They see they are subscribed and they do read it. I think every once in a while they say I've read it. And so I think it's just, look, I'm not sure you teach your kids as much as you model your kids, model your behaviors every day. I think kids take after their parents more than anybody gives us credit for. I think if you look back in the history of how kids and families and even teams form, I think they model from their leaders. I think the leaders don't quite understand, whether it's team or a family, just how much impact their behaviors have.
Yeah,
It's not what they say, it's what they do.
totally.
And
And it's
kids
so
know when
it's
you're
so
distinguished.
pervasive. Yeah.
Kids know when you said something as a parent and you do something different. And that erosion of trust is what you're trying to avoid as a parent. It's what you're trying to avoid as a leader of a team. It's about your behaviors and what you're doing, not about what you're saying. And, I think this is true across life.
So true. Let's talk a little bit about finance, actually. So, how knowledgeable are your kids about finance, and how sternly do you impress upon them the technical
Probably,
skills and numbers?
it's finance is not, well, my son studied finance in school, and my daughter is an off the chart genius. So,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, she's like
Amazing.
the family. My son studied finance, and so yeah, he loves it. He loves talking the stock market mostly. He loves talking. So you just got to find the subject they love talking about. He was real estate finance, and whenever he had a final, he's like, "Dad, I need you to help me with this final." And I would tell him in school, and I would tell him, "I know nothing about real estate or these equations." He goes, "Yeah, but you're the smartest finance guy I know." I said, "Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna teach me these definitions. You're gonna teach me these variables, and you're gonna teach me this course that I've never taken. And by you teaching me, you're gonna learn it."
Nice.
So we had this thing where he would teach me. I was like, I don't know the answer to this, but if you teach it to me, I could probably pick it up pretty quickly. And I
Yeah.
could figure out and then correlate with the finance terms that I know. Real estate finance is much different than regular finance. It's got definitions, got terms, and it's like, so that was a fun exercise. Of just
Totally.
engaging. Just
Totally.
engaging and just being there with your kid when they're going through stuff.
Jim, isn't that you just did VP training when you train a director to be a VP? Isn't that kind of what you just like?
I
you
guess,
just
yeah.
did?
It comes naturally after a while.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a way more, mundane kind of thing, but you technically just trained him to be an executive.
I think little by little, just and they watch. Your kids watch how you treat other people. I mean, there were times when my kids were growing up when I would get pissed at a rent-a-car agent, or we all have our moments of traveling, or
Oh yeah.
having bad customer service, and you kind of go off, and we've all had those moments, no matter how we think we don't. My kids would be like, "Dad, you were really an asshole, that person." I'm like, "Yeah, but they deserved it." And I'm like, "Dad, you should never treat someone like that." I'm like, "You're right."
Yeah.
You're right.
Wow, that's awesome. You have those conversations. That's great.
Right.
That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, but my kids call me on it. It's great.
Have you ever apologized to your kids?
Oh yeah. Oh, you have
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Have
This
you
is
done it recently?
you say I don't know if you're part of this Tiger Society, part of this culture. Like you never do that, but I don't subscribe to that at all.
I don't subscribe to it either. I'm
I
just
think
curious.
I
Yeah.
think you have to. I think apologizing to your kids is actually more powerful than telling them what to do.
When's the last time you apologized to your kid?
Well, I don't know. A couple days ago, I'm sure.
We're talking days.
I'm sure.
That's awesome.
Right. I think I was all grumpy 2 days ago. You know, I was getting ready for this event, and I was just really short tempered. And they're like, "What's up with you?" I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm just stressed. I'm like, I shouldn't be short with you. You're right."
That's
But yeah, I
awesome.
apologized a couple days ago.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So super casual. It's very germinated in your day to day with them. That's great. Yeah, I think it's much more intentional for me. I'm not at that level yet. I think I'm like I need to like consciously think about what I messed up on and then my wife needs to nudge me and tell me that I messed up. And then I go. But my kids are younger, so I think as they get older, they'll start vocalizing it more. Especially my oldest. Oh my gosh, my 8-year-old is sassy. She's like, it's really funny. It's so funny because she's very much like me, and she's very like quick to cast fairness. It has to be operationally rigorous. Everything has to fit in a box and everything has to be fair. And so she'll now know to argue with me about things that are not fair or hypocritical. And so it's pretty challenging. So back to what you're saying earlier, I have to now role model the behavior. I can't just say what I want.
I have to tell you, I have a personal belief system, and I knew this before my kids got to this age range, and it's been proven to me with other people's kids. Fundamentally believe at the ages of 8 to 12, maybe 8 to 13, outside 14, and I say 8 for a reason, maybe 7, but it's in that range, are the golden years. It's the most influential years. It's the years where they still think you walk on water. It's the years where they haven't quite grown into their own person, and yet you're watching this progression, and they're watching your every move, and you're their best friend. And I love the 8 to 12 years. Absolutely, and so my wife and I talked about this a lot. It's like we would actually sacrifice everything around business for our kids during those years. You just have to say, "Oh, not going on that trip," or if we're going on that all hands meeting, we're taking the family with us and spending more money than we otherwise would, right? It's just
I love it. I love that you're saying this because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm on a 5-year sprint. So I'm working my brains out because I'm trying to maximize those golden years, because I'm trying to like maximize the time, and I'm not like negligent. I'm still a present father, but I'm working really hard for 5 years to see if I can actually save up enough, build enough so that I can actually spend more time with them for the next 7 or 8 years when they're 8 to 15. Because statistically speaking, that is absolutely accurate, and that's what I've researched, that it's just the tides of life, right? And then especially with girls, and you can validate this for me because you've gone through this, but I heard you become like best friends with your girls during that age.
You
and
do.
yeah, and so I'm
or
really
well, let me say the opposite, or you don't.
so I gotta
See?
be good.
See what happens when you look at it the other way?
I got a role model, of a really good human then, so I gotta
See?
be a good, yeah.
I mean, when you think about, oh, I should do this, I should do that, but when people think about or you don't, it kind of kills people. And it like totally changes the priority.
I know, I gotta focus, but I'm really happy to hear you say that, because that is literally like the reason why I'm doing all this. Like the core reason, if you peel all the different reasons why I'm doing this, is just to maximize my relationship with my daughters during those golden years.
Well, if I could just give one piece of advice,
Please.
whether it's right or whether it's wrong, try it on. If you don't like it, don't use it, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. It's the everyday moments of carving out the time. It's when you find yourself saying, I don't have time because I've got to do this podcast, or I don't, like, I wonder if I should reschedule that because my daughter needs me now.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should prioritize my daughter over this structured thing is that more flexible than this? And if you ask yourself that question, it's probably because when your daughter needs you at that moment, it probably is more important than that thing on the calendar. That is a really hard habit to break, because I'm pushing. It's this push and pull between, I'm busting my ass, I'm doing it for you, but you wake up and it's like, yeah, but there was like 3 or 4 moments when they came to you and you said I didn't have time. There's a famous song that I love. It's from Cats in the Cradle. It's a really old song. Um, and they talk, and this song talks about how this kid growing up, his dad was really, really successful. His dad never gave him time. And when he grew up, it's like,
He never had time, and so that's what he remembered his dad as.
yeah, he remembered his dad as like, oh, he loved me, but every time I asked him something, he was like, he was always too busy in the moment, and
Yeah.
it's like, huh. It's like, again, modeling that you're more important than my business during those years is something to think about.
This is really, really good advice, and I am absolutely, you're hitting me right at the core, because I definitely struggle with this pretty badly, right? Like, I like things organized, and I like things in tight little boxes. But I will ask, you're a very successful operator. How did you flex, and what did you do to like help you learn how to flex and deviate from the structure that you need to be a good finance executive?
How did I flex personal with business?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable to make the decisions of family over business during those years. And yet, because, clearly that's going to set me back, or like, oh, I'm willing to take that risk. But then you realize that nobody cared at business. You just got your stuff done. Like, the risk wasn't nearly the risk. It's like, wait, why haven't I been operating like this forever? I operated out of fear of risk of, letting my team down or letting the exec down, or the CEO. It's like, no, actually, I'm going to have dinner at 6:30 with my family. I'm not going to take that call, right? We can do this after dinner, right? It's setting boundaries. And if you're not, you're not at a company, but you're running many companies, it's like, no, my priority is dinner time with my family, 6:30, and that's my priority, and this is why. So we can certainly take that call after, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So you just set the boundaries. Yeah. You just started
setting
flexing.
boundaries, which tells your kids they're important.
And then when you first did it, though, you did run through the risk analysis of your.
It was very uncomfortable, because that's not what got you there. What got you there is pushing hard, and that's how I got there. But it's like, and then you hear all this crap around, and it really is crap, right? And I'm probably, this is where I'm going to get the trolls. Maybe I'll get the trolls.
Say it.
You hear all this crap around. In order to be successful, you have to have this 996, this new meme, this new 996 mentality. I think that's the word.
I don't know what 996 is, though.
So I'm watching this pop up. It's 9 hours a day. What is 996? Is it maybe it's 669? It's 6 days a week, 9 hours. I got to look it up now. See, I don't even
9
know.
hours a
But
day,
it's like if you're not pushing like this, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur, right? And it's just like, that's just wrong. That's just because being successful is having a blend of both, personal and business. Look, what a significant majority, higher than the average U.S. households of successful executives, are so unbalanced that they're divorced, their kids have disowned them, their kids are on drugs. Like, someone should do that study. We live in this life of seeing the dysfunction of being unbalanced as one of the most successful executives. And you can see them around. It's like, and there's very few that know how to balance it. And of course they'll say, well, that's because it can't be done. I just fundamentally disagree.
Beautiful.
It can't be done because you haven't tried.
I love that. Goes back to push the publish button. Yeah, I got to go for it. Push the button.
Here's 996. I just looked it up. This is the 996 work schedule is primarily associated with China's tech industry. But now a lot of VCs are starting to repeat it because they think it's cool. It's, you must work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week.
What the hell? Jeez.
72 hours a week is the new standard. If you're not doing that, you're not going to be successful.
Wow. That's the 996, huh? Oh, geez. Yeah, I didn't even know that thing existed. That's crazy.
Well, this is the meme that happens. People latch onto it and like, well, if so-and-so said it, it must be true. Where's the other voice of lead a balanced life, when you're working, work, and when you're not, set boundaries? It's like, there's all this, like, you have to do this to be successful. You have to do that. It's like, that's just, step back. That's just wrong. There isn't one pattern to be successful. There's being true to yourself. There's focused, like, if you want to do that, that's great. If you want to realize that you're not going to have as balanced a family life and you choose that, that's fine. If you want the other thing, it can be done.
There's consequences. It's like, it's basically inputs and outputs, right? It's basically like, it's like, how do you want to derive your outputs? Think about your inputs.
Yeah, if your output is, I just want to be a gazillionaire at the end of the day, but, have all this money in my bank account, but I really don't have a relationship with my daughter, okay?
Yeah.
Or I can earn 10 times less than that, still be extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
Have a great relationship, right?
Yeah.
With my family, your choice.
I love it. One more question before I start jumping into rapid fire questions. Where did you learn how to coach and kind of be this, what's it called, thought provoker? Because even in this interview, I'm like asking you questions, but you're almost making me answer all my own questions. So I'm just curious where you learned that skill.
I'm not sure anybody learns how to coach, just absorb it,
Mm,
and they practice it and they realize and they're told that they're good at building teams. They're
mm,
told that they're good at relating, and they get asked to be mentors. I think
yeah.
some of the best coaches are kind of pulled into it, don't push themselves
Mm,
into it. It's not like a course. I mean, there are courses you can go to, but I just think I don't know. I wrote this early in my blog post. I wrote this Venn diagram once, which I'm still pretty proud of. I created it on my own. It's people that get into doing what I'm doing or coaching
mm,
have to have three circles of this Venn diagram, and each circle filters into lower and lower levels until there's like less than 1% of the people who are good at doing what we do. And the first circle is you have to be credible. You have to have you have to be confident and have a track record for people to listen to in the first place. That's the starting circle. So,
yeah.
you've had a
Competency.
successful career.
Yeah.
And then the next circle filter is you have to be a good communicator. You have to be good and empathetic with people. You have to, be okay with being ahead of them because you end up knowing more than they do and bringing them along. And a lot of people just don't like to do that. They just like
Hmm.
to tell people what to do, not kind of show people what to do. Or are good in communicating, and so that filters a bunch of people out. But the last circle filters almost everyone else out, which is you have to want to do it. It has to be a thing that drives you. So there's a lot of people that have been successful. Let's take a CFO, 3 successful IPOs, blah, blah, blah. And they're a good communicator. So they fit the first two circles. And the last circle is, why are you doing this? Like, why would you ever do this? Like, what's in it for you?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, well, that's not a question I ever ask myself. I always ask my question, what's in it for them? Right? That's what drives
Oh.
me, right?
That's interesting, yeah. Because I will say that I've been told specifically that not, I mean, not like all the time, but enough times for me to notice that I'm not a good coach. And I've unpacked that, and I think they're right because I think in your Venn diagram, I'm missing the second part of number two, and I'm definitely missing number three. Right? Like I like to like move. I like to get
Yeah.
things done.
And that's
I'm
fine.
still, yeah, and I'm still an operator
You
inside,
don't have
right?
to
And
be a
so
good coach. Like, that's not a requirement.
no, no, yeah, and I totally am embracing it. I think I've actually been more successful the moment I realize I'm not a good coach. I'm kind of more of like
You're a
I'm a,
player. You're still a
I'm a,
player.
yeah, I'm a tool, right? I'm like a piece that you can use to like basically leverage your business faster, right? So, and the moment I embraced it and I stopped trying to be something I'm not, I think it actually helped my career quite a bit.
There's your quote. Embrace it and just be who you are. There you go.
Let me ask you some rapid fire questions so there's some symmetry to all my shows here. So, one surprising thing you learned about yourself after becoming a parent?
That being perfect is impossible. That being a parent is extremely hard and messy. I thought it was going to be easy.
That's awesome. You thought it was gonna be easy. I love hearing this side of you. That's so funny. You thought it was gonna be easy and it ended up being super hard. That's so cool. That's really cool. It's almost comical. I
How
love
hard
it.
can it be? They're just kids,
That's great. That's
right?
awesome.
But the emotional attachment and how manipulative human beings and even dogs and animals are just so
Yeah.
they're naturally manipulative, and it tugs at your heartstrings. That's not a
Yeah.
pejorative thing. Keep
Yeah.
going. Rapid fire. Keep going.
Yeah. So, what's your go-to as a content creator? I'm actually curious what your favorite content is. What do you prescribe to? Favorite book or favorite podcast or favorite news link or
I'm a voracious reader.
mm,
Always have been. I'm all over Twitter all the time. I'm all over LinkedIn all the time.
mm-hmm.
I'm going down rabbit holes of things that I'm interested in. And when that intersection of what I'm interested in goes ding, 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 I just learned something that I think a lot of people would want to share because a lot of people don't want to go down that rabbit hole. People know me as someone who goes down a rabbit hole. They're like, they know I go deep and I'm very analytical. Like that's just who I am, and I can't change that. But there's a lot of people who are like, if you find something out, I'd love to learn it because I don't want to do all that work. And so when I stumble on that, it's like, ding, 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 that becomes a
Yeah.
piece of content.
That's awesome. I love it. So you are actually just kind of consuming a lot then, it sounds
Oh,
like.
yeah, yeah, because I
Wow.
have the time to consume it.
That's amazing.
See, a lot of people don't have the time to consume it, but I love AI. I love leadership. I'll just read anything I think is great, and it's not like I follow any one person. It's just I'm a good skimmer. I
Hmm.
can skim and I can just see the structure of language. Maybe I of how people make their arguments, and it just, and so I
You can get to the core
follow
of it.
people
Yeah.
that I follow people.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And then also do a lot of the research and work that you don't have to do.
Well, once I find it, I go deep, and I'll find myself a couple hours into a rabbit hole, and like I
I
got to go
love
get
it.
some lunch.
That's awesome. All right, to bring us home, when you're not being an awesome dad and an awesome content creator and giving back to the next generation of finance executives, what do you do for fun? What's your downtime activities?
Golf, tennis, pickleball,
Nice.
fishing, fly fishing with my kids, camping with my kids. Very outdoor oriented. It's a combination of being very sports oriented and very outdoor oriented. I like being outside.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really interesting coming from a finance guy. That's great. It's like the extremes. It's like a good mixture of the extremes, right? That's wonderful. Awesome. Well, Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show, man. I really, really appreciate it. I know how busy you are and how valuable this time is, so I really, really am so
Not as
grateful.
busy as you, Jan. Come on, you're way busier than I am.
For one more year, and then I'm gonna. Oh wait, I gotta be more flexible. Wait, let me think about that answer, and I'll get back to you.
Right.
Thank you again for being on the show, and look forward to talking to you soon.
You're welcome. Thanks.